Hi guys, EBPMAN with tabletsforme.com, and we're going to do a quick hardware review of the Galaxy Nexus available on Verizon. So let's take a look at some of the controls. First thing is you have your volume rocker, very straightforward and basic. On the opposite side, you have your power button. You also have these little contacts, for those of you who are curious, are battery charging contacts. So if you have a docking station for the phone, that's where it would rest and charge. You have on the top nothing on the top. However, on the bottom you do have your micro USB port right there. And one of the things about this is that this micro USB serves double duty. It is also used for HDMI output. So you would have to buy a specific cable that would be able to take advantage of the fact that while this is a sync port for syncing with your computer and it's a charging port, it's also the video port. So this phone does not have a dedicated micro HDMI connector, but this one right here serves dual purpose. But you'd have to buy the cable or the adapter to support that. Your microphone, obviously, and then this is something that was available on the previous Galaxy Nexus as well. The microphone jack is on the bottom of the phone, which is kind of a little weird for me because if I have the phone in my pocket, I typically place the phone, if I were to think about it this way, it going down like this. If I have it in a holster, the phone is typically slid downward. So most of my phones have it on the top or on the side, and that's kind of where I like it. So this is a little bit different. So it's not a showstopper for me, but it's still something to consider depending on what you like. The other thing is that this phone does have two speakers, one here, and it has one in the back. It has your camera with flash. It's a 5 megapixel camera. Oh, one thing that I almost forgot to mention is that the mic it does say in the specs that it's a noise cancellation mic. Haven't tested it to really say how great it is, but it's something that definitely exists in the spec. The other thing I just wanted to show is how do you take the cover off, because that's been something that I've been asked. So all you do is you stick your finger here, your nail right here, and then you peel it back. You don't have to worry about it breaking. While it seems flimsy, it doesn't really damage, and it has these notches here that I'd caution you when you insert it back on the cover that there's a specific way or the safest way to do it so that you don't damage them. But again, it's pretty hardy. And if we were to look at the back of the phone or the inside of the phone, here you have your standard Samsung battery, which if you do have a Nexus phone with AT&T, you cannot interchange batteries. The batteries are different. You have your SD slot. This is where your SD card would go. And that's pretty much it. So let me show you how you would put the cover on. This is how I recommend you put it on. I always like starting from the bottom. So I would put the bottom in, making sure that the notches that you have there kind of line here well. And then really you don't have to worry about just snapping it in. So what I'm doing is snapping in the sides. And I just rub my fingers around the sides like that. And around the front. And what will happen is, let's see, there it is. All of them snap in with no problem. You can see that. See? There's really no reason for you to take it off because there's no micro SD that you can expand. So that's one of the negatives about this phone. It does have 32 gig of memory, and I believe around 28 is available for use. One of the neat things I'll talk about just quickly on the phone is when you turn it on, the thing about this phone is that it is running Android operating system 4.0, so it is the Nexus, actually I'm sorry, the ice cream sandwich. And the whole thing about this is that it allows you to create groups. So when you see here, this is again groups in folders, and you can customize your groups. The phone comes pretty generic, so there's really not much to it. This is literally untouched. This is what it would look like as soon as you turn it on, so there's nothing there. And really, just the benefit of this phone is that it's a pure Google experience. One of the things that I think is pretty neat also is that it has no buttons. So these are part of the display. I don't know how much of this can come out, but the display runs up to here, and while it's cut off by this black band, these are not real buttons. These buttons that you see here are actually on the screen and are part of the LCD. So no buttons to press, which is neat. And also what you have, which is a little different, is that now you have your Google Voice search here, so you're missing your search button. It's also gone. The neat thing about this phone also is when you turn it off, I kind of like it. It's almost like a reminiscent to one of the old television sets. So watch this. I think that's pretty cool. Just again, it's a nice little feature when it comes to turning it on and off. So that's pretty neat, and I'm sure people will figure out how to mod that and change it. And this is your application button now here on this dock. So when you tap it, all the apps that are available will come up. It's a very fast phone, and it's kind of hard to determine, is it the hardware or is it the software that's been so optimized. So I really can't wait to get the ice cream sandwich on my Galaxy S2 phone to see how it compares when it comes to speed. So we'll compare that once the software has been updated on those two devices. So this is a quick review of the hardware and what you could expect on the phone. And if you are a lucky Verizon customer, you may want to check this phone out. Just again, remember, not expandable from a memory perspective. You do need to have that proprietary cable if you want to connect it out. It does have, according to the spec, the ability to do noise cancellation with the fact that it has a dual mic, and it is the only phone at this time that is running the actual ice cream sandwich software or a new operating system. So if you have any questions, just leave them on the YouTube channel or visit me on tabletsforme.com. Enjoy.